Hey people,
I've been real busy with this pool house for a customer and working on getting a hot shower in my outhouse. But I have been reading a little bit and I'm going to get to that. But I wanted to start with this zebra finch. I caught this on PBS Evolution Earth. This bird has a call that all the animals in the outback know in times of drought. And this bird will lead them to water. They just follow his call. So in time of severe drought and heat, this girl was checking up on their call and she heard a new call. And after investigating this and doing some egg studies, she found out that the calls in the heat would cause the eggs to be born smaller, where they wouldn't burn as much energy and wouldn't create as much heat. And they were more apt to survive through heat and drought conditions. And so it's strange that they put this on Evolution Earth, because it kind of just disproves the theory of evolution. This evolution happens in one laying cycle. And you can catch it here at PBS. Just Google Evolution Earth episode 3. So maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, I was telling y'all about my DMT trip, where the angels told me that, you weren't created with the word. You were created with the complete orchestra playing the song. It's like the salvation of salts. You're being created for 9 months in the womb. And so when you're not feeling good, your go-to salts are usually those 3 that you weren't in the womb. But this program talks about several kind of heat-resistant creatures. And it talks about these birds, about 24 to 34 maybe. And they're the saviors of the forest. And so you think about this little bird brain has the capability and the know-how to change DNA. And this beak, is the instrument capable of commanding all the forest animals when in time of need. And it's the instrument to change the DNA so the offspring survive. This little bird brain has that. What the hell's wrong with us? So I've been reading a little bit, and chasing words brought me to Psalm 75. And I was looking at this word for horns, and the corn what? And you can hear, the corny. And it comes up a couple more times here, spelled different up in 5. The corn come, your horn. And the corn, this is where your word Karen comes from. She's the horn. But every dictionary in the world knows that this doesn't mean horn. It's where the cornucopia comes from. So they say it means overflowing, plenty. And that's what corn means. Corn is the grain that feeds the nation. Whatever is growing best in that area is its corn. And it's a symbol of plenty. And it looks like this, it's a horn-shaped basket. And it's full of the harvest. So when you're reading the King James Version, you can't take any of this literally. And it says it plain out above here. We give thanks for your name is near. And your name is smack. And that's the same smack as in the WWE SmackDown. And some people think, a smack is getting hit, but it's actually getting hit with an insulting comment. All that fighting is fake. The show is all about talking smack. So this is 10 short lines, and I'm going to try to read the whole thing here. I feel like I got about 90% of it, but I haven't made a movie in a long time. I know when I start making movies, I see things that I missed before. But this is lament, LMNTS. And so lament is a call of exclamation, a song or a poem expressing sorrow, a cry. And this reads a couple different ways, but you can see where they got this set to do not destroy. When do you get ready to not destroy something? and laments and cries halt, HALT, the stop shit, the halt shit, to do not destroy. But it's reading to lament and then the SH, to lament, to cry, shall attest. This is backwards, shall, SHL, attest. And I saw it with my own eyes, and cried, shall attest. And I saw it, the shittums from where? And so shittums, that's the word for acacia or mimosa. And you see that come up several more times down here in line 6. It's just flat out the mimosa. And laments shall attest, the shittums from where Las Fesser. And so Las Fesser, F-S-I-R, the Fesser, is, to fess up. And the fesser is the one that carries around the big stick, and it puts you down and sets you down and beats a confession out of you, fesser. And the cries shall attest, the shittums from where lost the fesser. And it's telling her where the shittums are. And you can tell by the cries, testament, the shittums from where. Because when somebody does that shittums, they go to crying, they lamenting. And so we give thanks to you, God. We give thanks. This is Houdina, E-U-D-H-U-D, Hood in a lick. Hood in a lick means in a hurry. Who would in a lick? Hood in a lick. And then you have this wall to call when hand we from yell. Hey, I need a hand from yell. Who'd in a lick call when hand we from yell. And then it looks like the same word, but the ash, the A-E is ash. The god Odin. And the yell is Woodina. When we call on you, you're there. Who'd in a lick call when hand we from yell, who'd in a. And a fur of smack. And so the name is more over here in a fur of. And you see most time in the Bible when it calls his name, and called has something to do with this QR in it. And a fur of smack, the sparring flaw tick. The sparring, S-P-R-U-N, fighting flaw, F-L-A-W, and tick. Tick is something reoccurring, a problem. You got a tick. It doesn't stop, and it doesn't stop the flaw of sparring smack, the name calling, fighting, that declare your wondrous works. And so you're really good at running that mouth. And then so you give thanks. And laments shall attest, the shittums from where the fesser. Who'd in a lick call when hand we from yell is woodina. A fur of smacks, sparring flotic. And key, this is the giving hand, and it may be to see, C-I, and to see to it, to give hand, to give work. And see backwards, the check. To see check, to check AM, the checkum wood. And give a checkum wood in backwards, inum AM, inum his rim tops. And give checkum wood inum his rim tops. And keep on checking him until he's had enough. His rim and backwards tops. And the T is to collect, and the P is open, and that's when you put a top on something. You collect the opening at the top in tops. And when I choose the proper time, the give check a mood, MUOD, a mood, and that's where your word modem comes from, in the seasons, in the times and seasons, the mode. And give check a mode. To give the check a mood in them is rim tops. The nameagem, and this is coming from the seed from Jim, the father side of your family tree. The Gin, the GYN, is the feminine side, and the Gem or the Gum, GUM, is the father's side. The seed from Jim. In Nemegem, it also comes with the last name. The Nemegem share, XR backwards, the share AV, the share of a clevis. The clevis is by the icon at Kenty. And the nameagem share of clevis is by the icon at Kenty. Homo die cell. Homo, the same as, it's when Moses' men are homie, OMI, and the Pharaoh's men are homo, OMU. The same dye, the same color, dye, sail. Sail is the secret or support of life. You got to have a sail. You grow all your crops, and you got to have some left over for the support of life, the sail, so you can get things that you can't grow on your farm. And the Nemegem share of clevis is by the icon at Kenty. And so the icon at Kenty, it's talking about the clevis is the cleaves would be knives, and the clevis is a shackle. And the Kenty, that's the canton here, set up firmly, is at Kenty. And so it's saying, that the nameagem share of the clevis is by, the shackle is by, a clevis is like a shackle, a anchor shackle. You see on the Narmer palette, it's got a clevis here. And some of them say it's the CH, and some of them say it's the TH. And some say just plain T, and it makes me think that TH most likely. So the Nemegem, they're cousins on the father's side. The Nemegem share of the clevis is by the icon at Kenty. So there's a shackle sitting beside the icon at the Kenty, up on top of the flag, and it's set up firmly. It sits right here by the tuck. It's firmly tied up on top. And the icon at Kenty, a homo, the same dye, cell, the same color, sail. And so some people are reading this, immortal Hoolium, howl. And some people are reading this a term, to cut. And so when you're immortal, you have no life term, you live forever, and backwards, that's a term, to trim the life down, a TRM. A term, all Hulayim. And so, in Egypt, this double L gives you a Y at the end, Hulayim. The lawyers or the liars, to be boastful. A term, all Hulayim. The law, backwards, LAW. The law let tell. The law let tell. A term, all Hulayim. Latella. And Lars, the one who fought and took it. Larson, larceny, larso, and larsoum. Law, the taxes read this backwards. The law murder. The murderum a friend. The law of murderum a friend. And you can see, the backwards MIR and then TR. I am murderum, to trim, TRIM, trim it up. And it's coming from the same place as this word here, the TRM, ITRM, or TRIM. You see here in 5, some people might read this as the alterum, not do lift up. No, the alterum is do lift up, a facelift, alterum. Put them up on the altar, alterum. But this is the law, the murderum, Wilmorum. More is Egyptian, MR, Egyptian for high, to stack more on, the morum. And the law, murderum, Wilmorum, Frank, mitted. And so, I believe this is where your word French come from. The Franks, were the friends of the Germans. The Frank, mitted, bear of it so erotic, with a neck stiff is so erotic. Law murderum, Wilmorum, Frank mitted. The French mitted, allowed in the mitted bear of UVTS, bear of its XU, that's the zoo, that's the Greek word for Eve, the zoo. Bear of its so erotic, RAROTQ, erotic. So I'm halfway through here. This is 10 lines. And I'm going to split this up and finish this another movie, because long movies seem to scare people off. So I wanted to add one more thing to this movie. They're trying to give us a scare about shutting down the government, and this ain't never scared me before, and it still doesn't scare me. But I was talking to a businesswoman yesterday. She's telling me that everything that the conspiracy theorists have been talking about is all coming true. And the next one here is the shutdown. It's going to be a cover-up to shut our cash down. And everything's going to be running off a card. So come October 4th, you might want to have a pocket full of cash out of your account, because they might be trying to jerk our chain again. So I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.
I am the Antichrist, and I approve of this message.